So today, we're going to be going over the 9 satanic statements, which is kind of like basically the foundations of Satanism. So I know a lot of you, subscribe to my channel. I've seen the comments and like, why are you doing this? I'm doing this because a lot of people who are watching and searching this information out are looking for this, and I haven't seen anybody on YouTube describe it in any explanation so far. So might as well be fucking me, right? I can't think of anybody better. So, yeah. Okay, so 9 satanic statements. These are like basically the foundations of Satanism. So if you agree with these, then, you might want to continue your research. If not, then, well, now you know. Okay? So this is written in the Satanic Bible, which was published in 1969 by Anton LaVey. This is, if you're going to learn about Satanism, that's the exact book to start. And it's not really a Bible. It's actually really short. So, on with it. Satan represents, number one, Satan represents indulgence instead of abstinence. Satanism, we believe in indulging in our desires, so long as it doesn't hurt anybody which doesn't deserve to be hurt. Or taking advantage of anybody that doesn't, deserve to be taken advantage of. Basically, yeah, indulging your desires. We don't have concepts of sin like other religions do. So we encourage indulgence because it makes you feel good. Instead of abstinence. So indulgence instead of abstinence is the number one satanic statement. Number two, Satan represents vital existence instead of spiritual pipe dreams. That's basically meaning we represent the here and now, living life to the fullest, living life for today, instead of spiritual pipe dreams, meaning like waiting for an afterlife or a heaven or some great reward that's probably never going to come. Here and now is your heaven and your hell. So, number three, Satan represents undefiled wisdom instead of hypocritical self-deceit. Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory too. It's kind of almost the same. We hold knowledge and truth and logic and reason and critical thinking above hypocritical self-deceit, above deceiving yourself into believing that we are something that we're not. Satan represents kindness to those who deserve it instead of love wasted on ingrates. That's another easy one to understand. Basically, give people respect and love and treat them kindly, and concern who deserve it. Instead of people that are don't care, people that aren't going to treat you with the same kindness and respect. Fuck them. So that's basically it. It's kind of instead of do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So it's a great motto, but unless everybody follows it, it doesn't work because you get taken advantage of. Do unto others as they do unto you is much more like it. Number five, Satan represents vengeance instead of turning the other cheek. Self-explanatory. We don't feel like backing down. We don't turn the other cheek. If somebody wrongs you, you have every right to wrong them. And if you can, teach them a lesson or even to make yourself feel better, go for it. Obviously within reason, you got to balance out the consequences too, but that's for you to decide. Satan represents responsibility to the responsible instead of concern for psychic vampires. That kind of goes along with the other two up there I just read. Basically, Satan represents responsibility, being responsible, taking responsibility for your own actions, and not concerning yourself for psychic vampires. Psychic vampires are people that will constantly do things to try to get your attention, to try to steal your emotional devotion or interests. They're people that, just like I said, psychic vampires. They suck the emotions out of you and your time, your energy, your efforts. Don't worry about those people. Those people are parasites, and that's what they thrive on: is your attention, your emotional response. Responsibility to the responsible. People get what they deserve. And take responsibility for your own actions. Number seven, Satan represents. Also, I want to point out, you notice how all these start off with Satan represents. Since we don't actually believe in a real Satan, people ask, well, what do you believe in? Why do you call it Satanism? Satan is an archetype or a symbolic manifestation of these things and more. But these things too, that's why it says Satan represents, meaning Satan is to us. So therefore, that kind of explains what we consider Satan, not the devil with the pitchforks and the evil guy that hurts people. Satan represents, and I'm reading this to you right now. Satan represents man as just another animal, sometimes better, more often worse than those that walk on all fours, who, because his divine spiritual and intellectual development, in quotations, has become the most vicious animal of all. Basically, we see ourselves as just another animal. We have needs and desires, and we live by the law of the jungle, and we are nothing more than animals. But because of our, in quotations, divine, spiritual, and intellectual development, because of our morals, and because of our religious indoctrination, we have become the most vicious animals of all. Because now, well, an example, now we can kill in the name of God. You know, we can do, we have these fantasies and delusions that we don't share with the other animals, thank God. Get that? You see what I did? But yeah, so Satan represents man as just another animal, which we are. Satan represents all the so-called sins as they all lead to physical, mental, and emotional gratification. That is true. Most of them, right? If you think of like the 7 deadly sins, lust, greed, all that stuff represents. It doesn't mean at the expense of somebody else, though. It doesn't necessarily. It's not what it's saying. It's saying that indulging in these sins is a good thing because it makes you feel good. Now, again, responsibility to the responsible. You know, I mean, if you like to do, I'll use drugs as an example because that always comes up. Although that's not really a sin, I don't think, at least not directly. Anyway, if you overindulge in things, you know, or okay, I'll use another one. Say, gluttony, right? Overeating, right? Everybody loves to eat. If you overindulge in it and you get fat and you have health problems, or now you become uncomfortable in your own skin because you're overweight, well, then, that's not, that kind of defeats the purpose. But so, yeah, I mean, again, it's, depends on the situation and with the person. But yeah, we do represent the so-called sins because they do make you feel better. And there's no need to feel guilty about indulging in desires that you were born with. So you're born with these desires for a reason, to indulge in them. And then the last one, number 9, Satan has been the best friend the church has ever had, as it has kept it in business all these years. That's self-explanatory too. If there wasn't a boogeyman like Satan, people wouldn't go to church. You want to have somebody, you have to have fear to keep people in line, the herd anyway. Just like animals, right? If you're herding sheep, you have to have a dog to run around and bark to scare these sheep in a direction. Without that dog, the sheep's not going to listen. So Satan is responsible for ultimately the religions. Because without him, they would crumble. They'd crumble. People wouldn't go to church. People would do whatever they wanted. So Satan is the best friend the church has ever had, and has made the church millions of billions of dollars probably throughout history. So those are the 9 satanic statements, and I encourage you to read the Satanic Bible if you're actually interested in Satanism. And I know it's hard for people that were born after 1990, but you can watch YouTube videos. You can look on Wikipedia, right? You can guess all these things. You can watch my YouTube videos, whatever. A lot of disinformation out there, but really the truth is, if you want to learn truth about Satanism, you need to go to the source. And I can sit here and articulate some of these tenets, but I'm not going to read the goddamn Satanic Bible to you. Although it's like, without the last half of it, which is about magic and ritual, first half is like 150 pages. So it's not a Bible at all. I suggest you read it, because then, therefore, you can make a informed decision for yourself. There you go.